Stephen A., I know you scout the youngins. Do you agree with LeBron on this?
Well, I believe, and I side with LeBron if it's about the money. I also side with LeBron if it's about getting him in the pros before he gets exposed. Listen, Trae Young can play. Anytime you're averaging 29-9 on a collegiate level, you're big time. There's no doubt about that. But he is so small. He is so incredibly small, and it's not like he's a Muggsy Bogues type individual with lightning speed that defends you 94 feet or something along those lines. I just view him, he's a guy that you can't leave alone. He can make a shot. There's no doubt about that. But on the NBA level, I think he'll get exposed because if we're talking about somebody like an Isaiah Thomas, is a defensive liability. What are we going to say about Trae Young? He can still grow. He can still get better. I get all of that. But the rave about him, sometimes I see some of these bigger guys get on him. And, he's had, against West Virginia and a couple of other opponents, he's had some games when you get all up in him. And I think that could be potentially problematic. It's not to down him in any way. 29-9 is 29-9. I think the kid's got a lot of promise, and I wish him nothing but the best. But he's so tiny from a physical perspective. It's like, I don't know what else to say about it. I look at him, and he's no scrub, of course not. And he's been impressive from time to time. But the raving about him at times that I hear from some of these announcers and pundits, I don't get it. But while they are raving about him, listen to LeBron. Capitalize on it. Do what you got to do because the opportunity may not be there in the future the way that it is now for you. Staying in college a bit longer might get you exposed to some unwanted circumstances. So you need to capitalize on the moment and do what you got to do.
Look, if you want to make the argument, anyone wants to make the argument that the first time someone who doesn't have millions of dollars has a chance to get millions of dollars, they should take it. I'm not going to argue against that. Let me be clear about that. And if that's the argument, fine. But I don't see that as really the argument, Stephen A. I don't think if he stays in college, he gets exposed. I think we already know what he is. He's a guy who can shoot from long range, obviously. He's got quicks, but not. He doesn't really finish in the paint the way you'd expect a guy like that who's had his success, the success he's had, the way you'd expect a guy like that to finish. And there are things he can work on in his game. So other than the, hey, grab the millions is at your first opportunity argument, I would say stay in school. There are two comps for it that people kind of think of when you think of Trae Young. You think of Steph Curry on the high end, and here's an NBA player who turned pro, was drafted, the whole thing. But the question was, how good could he be at the next level? And the answer is not that good, but he healed, right? Both of them stayed in school for a while. They both developed. And if the argument is, well, sometimes that works out, look at Steph, and sometimes it doesn't matter, look at Buddy Hield, my counter would be, in each case, in both cases, staying in school made them a better version of themselves. Look no farther than the Lakers right now. Kyle Kuzma. Want to know why he's so good right now, other than his, work ethic and natural ability and all that stuff? Stayed in school for 4 years. Then look at some of the other rookies around the league that are struggling. Kuzma wouldn't have been the same guy had he come right out. And the other guys would have been better had they stayed in, usually. Usually that's the case. So I would say stay in for that reason. That no matter what, particularly the way draft picks are scrutinized nowadays, once you turn pro, you ain't going to be hidden in the G League. Like in baseball, you can get drafted high up to hide you in the minors while you develop. No, you're going to be thrown to the wolves, criticized, have your minutes limited, and you won't develop to the best of your ability to be the best version of what you could be. For that reason, I do not think Trae Young will be a great NBA player, but he should give himself the best chance possible, and that would mean more development time at the collegiate level.
You know what, Max, if he was Lonzo Ball's height, I would agree with you. The fact is that, they got him listed as 6'2". I haven't stood next to the guy, so I can't say definitively, but you know how they, embellish the numbers from time to time in terms of height, weight, size, or whatever. He doesn't look 6'2". He doesn't look 6'1", and he certainly doesn't look strong. And I think the combination of that also without him having a nasty handle. Look, he can handle the ball well enough to get a shot off from time to time. He can handle the ball well enough to get to the rack He deserves credit for that. Again, we're not trying to cast any aspersions on this team. Lon Kruger, I think, is doing a good job. Trae Young can ball. 29-9 is 29-9. I wish the kid nothing but the best. But I got to tell you, I look at him and I don't see a guy that's just nasty, that'll boogie on you and do damage to you. I see an individual who can make outside shots if you leave him alone. Or even if you contest it, he can still make some contested shots. He's good, but I don't see that greatness doesn't just ooze out of him in my mind. I saw Kyrie play 11 games at Duke, okay? 11, all right? He might have played 17, obvious. But I saw 11. But it was obvious. It's not obvious like that to me with Trae Young.
Yeah, I would say this about
Trae
Young. Even shooting from a great distance, that's really the Steph Curry effect. What Steph Curry did more than anything, and Bill James, you know, the godfather of sabermetrics, Stephen A., and the great baseball writer and writer of actually other kinds of interesting genres. Anyway, Bill James wrote about Babe Ruth, and everyone talked about they were juicing the balls. That's why Ruth hit so many home runs. And he said he thought that part of it was Babe Ruth's imagination. When everyone was saying, hey, you need to drag bunt, you need to do this, you need to hit it the other way, don't swing for the fences, he said, to hell with this, I'm swinging for the fences. And then soon thereafter, other players said, you know what, I'm going to swing for the fences too. So you never had another Babe Ruth, but you had other guys, Lou Gehrig, Jimmy Fox, who kind of approximated it, came close but didn't quite get there. And I think that's what Steph Curry is. Steph Curry, more than anything, had the imagination and the gumption to say, you know what, I can shoot from way back here, and I can do that consistently. And that effect is what we see in a guy like Trae Young. It's a Steph Curry creation in a way.
Yeah,
he's willing to take those shots. He does not hit them like Steph Curry.
But not just that, he ain't 6'3". See, we get caught up. We keep forgetting Steph Curry is a legit 6'3", a lanky 6'3" guard. I'm struggling to think that Trae Young's 6 feet tall. I mean, he looks tiny out there. I mean, that matters. That matters.
But that's part of being a freshman, Stephen A. Give him a couple years to fill out at least. Like, you also have an impression that he's not physically strong. I agree. But let's see how he is when he's 21.
Yeah, but I'm not. Again, I think that he'll get stronger. Inevitably, of course, he'll get stronger. He's only 19 years of age. He's gonna get taller. I don't know if that's the truth. I mean, I gotta see that. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm looking at.
But my point is this.
And look where he shoots the ball from. Look where he shoots the ball from too.
But we see guys like Bledsoe, like Eric Bledsoe, not tall, obviously, but Diesel, like the dude is strong, right? I'm not saying Trae Young ever is going to be built like Eric Bledsoe, but I am saying he doesn't have his man bones yet, you know? Give him a couple of years not only to develop, but to fill out a little. You may feel differently.
I think LeBron is right. Let him come out now, because I lean towards longer he stays in college, the more he may potentially get exposed. Like last night with Texas Tech. I think if he comes out early, get that money while you averaging 29-9, and you possibly gonna win the Wooden Award. Come get it. Come get it now.
Well, if that's the case, he's projected to go to the Sixers at number 7 overall in ESPN's latest
Ain't that something? Markelle Fultz, how you feel about that? Good Lord have mercy.
Coming up, the Giants coaching